Hello, my Stitchy friends. This is Tyler with Will It Stitch. I am back for my end of August, beginning of September Flosstube update. Today is Saturday, September 6th, so about a week later than I wanted to get this posted. But last weekend with the holiday, there was just too much going on. So, uh, first, I just want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed, everyone who actually comes back every month for my updates. I really appreciate it. Prior to starting this Flosstube at the beginning of January, stitching was just a solitary hobby for me. I didn't know, any friends or family that stitched now, like actively, were in the cross stitch world. Um, so I've been able to meet a whole bunch of people. I've got a lot of amazing friends since starting this channel. And again, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody. Um, so, as far as what happened in August, I did get All Hallows Eve by Annie B's Designs. That is fully finished, ready to be submitted to the county fair next month. We have submissions are going to be Sunday, October 12th. So I'll be getting that submitted, and hopefully it does well in the fair. We'll see. I did frame it myself. This is my first time framing anything of this size. I've done some smaller things, but nothing this big. And then I worked on 2 whips, and I've got 20 starts from the last update to now. And as far as all these starts goes, I have a Stitchy group that I talk with on WhatsApp, and we were discussing whips versus kitted anxiety or stress. And me and a gal in there, Sarah, we both agreed that it's the kitted projects that give us more stress and anxiety than the whips or the whip count. So we decided that we were going to start, a whole bunch of our kitted projects, just so that those aren't looming so heavily over us. With that said, I did start 20 things. I did dekit probably just as many, and I still have over 100 projects that I have kitted, like fully kitted, with mostly all fat quarters, all the floss, everything ready to go. And that doesn't include like actual kits that I've purchased as kits. These are things that I've kitted myself. So, in the coming months, I probably will be starting more things than I have been in the past, just so that my kitted projects kind of come down to a more reasonable amount. Just because, there's no reason for me to have over 100 kitted projects. And, they're all things that I want to stitch, and it feels so wasteful to have them just sitting in a project bag, not having any work done on them because of some whip count that I had. And it's like, I don't care about carrying a whole lot of whips. It's the kitted projects that really weigh heavily on me. So I'll be starting some of those here, in these next few months, and just slowly pick at them as I go. So 1 fully finished, 2 whips, I think, and then 20 new starts since then. So I will just start with my fully finished, which I also did get a ring light, so hopefully my lighting is a bit better and more consistent here in this one. We'll see. But this is All Hallows Eve by Blueberry Ridge Designs. And like I said, she was framed and laced myself. This is a frame that I essentially rescued from my grandmother. In February, she was going to be just tossing it, really. And I knew when I saw it immediately that I'd like to use it for this project. So here she is, ready to go. I'm just so in love with how this turned out. It is a little wobbly, all the way around, but for my first large size self-framed piece, I am proud of it. I didn't iron the fabric or anything before I framed it. I just, put it on some mat board, laced it as tight as I could. You can still see there is a crease running down the middle. You might be able to see it. You can see it right there above the house in front of the squirrel. But, I don't mind. For my first self-framed, large piece, I'm very happy with it. And even if it doesn't get a single ribbon, I'm still proud. And I'm excited to show it off. And I'm excited to... So, in October, I also take my yearly vacation trip. And in that trip, I go to North Carolina every year. I stay in the Nantahala National Forest area, and I go to the same house every year. They allow the dogs to come, which is really nice. There's no cell service, no Wi-Fi, anything. But I leave out of town on the 13th. So the day before I go out of town, I have to get this submitted. Otherwise, it won't be on display, because the fair is going to start while I'm out of town. And I come back on the 22nd of October. And I think it'll be around for another week or so. So whenever I come back, I want to make sure that I take a trip over there to see how my project fared and some of the other submissions that were there. And I'll try to get some video or photos of the walkthrough, because we really do have, a phenomenal fair here in Pensacola. I've never been to a fair that is as nice as our fair in terms of, for one, the size, to, the number of, rides and concessions that are available, and then the collectors or art exhibits. It is phenomenal. I have never seen such a large exhibit display as I do at our fair. So I'm super proud, super excited about that. As far as the two whips that I worked on, I think it's just two. One of them was Hannah Campbell 1838 by Hands Across the Sea. I know we have a lot of people that are working on this project right now. Me and the group of stitchers that I talked to on WhatsApp, we all started this together. I think it was the last Sunday. Yeah, it was the last Sunday in June we started this together. And mine is being stitched 1/2 on a 40 count green Crazy Hamster fabric with all the called for 103s. And this is where I got to this month. So I finished the 1/1 on that little bird with the pink chest. I worked on that little tree with that little 1/1 blackbird on it. I don't know if I had done this center cartouche or not last month, but I'm pretty sure I worked a little bit on that, and that was really it. The next time I pick this up, I am going to work on the border, probably going across the top, and from there, I'm not sure. So, I'm so happy with my fabric choice on that project. I think the green is really interesting. I don't know that I've seen anybody do a green fabric for Hannah Campbell. If they have, I'd love for y'all to let me know if there is one, because I'd like to compare mine to theirs. The second project I worked on was Harvest Moon by Annie Bees, which I literally just had the cover photo. Here we go. Harvest Moon by Annie Bees. This is a really beautiful project. It is so massive. The house is so big. I had thought this one's not going to take me long at all. No, this is a long-term project. I did swap the color of the house and the roof. So the purple color for the house is in the roof, and the blue and the roof is in the house. And she is being stitched 1/2 with the called for flosses on a 40 count 10 Smith by Color and Cotton. And that is where I got this month. So I know I took some of the blue in the house over above this window. I came down, was working on the pumpkin. And as you can see, I have a needle sticking in here because I have a hanging thread on the back. I don't know why I stopped in the middle of it, but I did. And so that is Annie Bees. All right, now for the new starts, I'm going to try to go in order. I have them kind of organized based on date that they were started. The first thing that I started this month is Folk Art Sampler by Diane Arthurs, Imaginating Ink. And on this one, I'm only doing the flower pot. I'm not doing the alphabet or the border or anything, just the flower pot. And she was started on the 3rd of August, 1/2 on a 30 count, 36 count Needs Must by Vicki Clayton. And I'm using Dinky Dyes Cardinal and Black Coral. And that is where I got to on this project. So I think I'm going to do the vase in that black coral, and then possibly all the flowers in the cardinal. Maybe I may put some pops of black in the flowers, and then maybe some pops of red in the vase. I haven't thought about it too deeply. Just wanted to start it. So that was the Folk Art Sampler. The next one I started, I worked on this one fairly exclusively for probably 2 weeks, because this one, A, is absolutely beautiful, and B, is a lot of fun to stitch. This is the Brick House Sampler by Brenda Gervais. And I'm stitching mine 1/2 on a 36 count Willow by Be Stitch Me with all the called for flosses. And this is how far I had gotten on this project. So I'm almost done with a full page. This is just so beautiful. And this fabric is so nice for this project. Bernard Gervais really has a way with color and making it muted, but at the same, just like classic and timeless and gorgeous. This is so much fun to work on. Hence why I worked on it fairly exclusively for a couple weeks. And this one was also started on the 3rd of August, so the same day as the folk art sampler. And we'll just pile everything. Make sure I don't get things mixed up. There we go. All right, now another start that I did. I have been saying I was going to start this since I received this pattern from Market. I said I was going to start it immediately. This is Hazel's Blackberry Burrow by Blueberry Ridge Designs. Finally started her, y'all. I started her on the 8th of August of this year. And she's being stitched 1/2 on a 40 count opal by Picture This Plus. And I only think I worked on her for just that one night. And that is where I got to. So started in the border, did the top of the teapot, and then was taking the outline of that teapot all the way down. Because it is a lot of fill-in, I thought, let me go ahead and outline everything, fill in the flowers or anything else in the teapot, and then just leave the fill-in for when I just want to sit and not think, but still get some stitching done. So that's the goal, is to get that one ready for fill-in when I pull her back out. Oh, finally, it feels nice to have that one started, especially since I was saying I was going to start that one immediately upon receiving it from Market, and I did not do that. This next one, I did also work on this one fairly exclusively for probably about a week. I guess between this one and the Brick House Sampler, I was really focusing on these two. This is Winter Bouquet, and well, that's what I'm calling it. It is this kit right here. I don't know. Is this Magic Needle? Does anybody know? I think it's Magic Needle, but I'm not 100% sure. But this came with like a gray 14 count Ada and all the flosses, everything. And I decided to swap out the fabric, and I also mistakenly started stitching this project sideways. So I'm stitching it like this, and it is a mistake stitching it this way, but I actually think I like the composition of this way versus this way better. Is that just crazy? Because it's just flowers, but I do think I like the way that looks that way. Anyways, so this was started on the 11th of August this year, and I did swap out the gray Ada for 28 count Fallen Leaves by XJU Designs. And this is where I got to on her. So I've had a lot of fun working on this project. The threads are, really nice. They're really nice quality. There's a lot of color changes in it. But I'm really, really loving this project. This is what this full piece of fabric looks like. I think the design is about 13 by 13. So I just decided to do a center start and just use this whole fabric for it so that I could... did I do a center start? I'm not sure. I must have, yeah. So I'll be able to show off some of this beautiful fabric whenever this piece does get finished. So that is what I am calling Winter Bouquet. Here are all the flosses. There are 2 floss cards in here. And it uses a combination of 1, 2, or 3 threads, depending on the symbol. All right. This next one is another Brenda Gervais that I started. This is Hallows Eve at Raven's Hollow. Really cute. I really don't have many like fall or Halloween projects on the go. I don't really decorate for any other holiday but the Christmas holiday, which when I do, I'll make sure that I snap some photos and show you what I do for Christmas. But I've got 5 Christmas trees that go up in my 1,300 square foot home. And the one in my bedroom goes up in October. So this was started on the 22nd of August, 2025. I'm stitching her 1/2 on a 40 count piece of scrap lakeside linen of an unknown color. And this is being stitched with all the called for flosses. And that is my start there. I think I did a center start on her because this is the full size of the fabric. So a lot of these new starts you are going to see, I've got, like 2 or 3 threads that have been put in them. Again, just so that I can start it and have a jumping off point for working on moving forward. Next one, this was started the same day, the 22nd of August. This is Blackbird by Mirabilia. I think this one and Ophelia are 2 of my all-time favorite Mirabilias, which I do need to restart Ophelia. But I did start Blackbird. And she's being stitched 2/2 on a 32 count Crazy Hamster fabric. And I did a center start on her. This is a fat half of fabric that I have. And that is my little start So I took the inspiration for using a purple fabric from the U2 Stitcher on Instagram. She stitches a lot of Mirabilias, and she recently finished Blackbird on a purple fabric, and it was absolutely stunning. And I knew immediately, okay, well, that is what I will be doing here. So the finished dimensions of this project, I think it's like 17 by 18. Let me see. 17 by just under 15 and a half. So I could have used a fat quarter, but my margins would have been like an inch on one side, on two sides. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to fuss with it. So took a fat half, did a center start on a length of fabric that I would need. So I should have, I want to say about 10 inches here at the bottom that I'd be able to cut out and possibly use for maybe some sort of Halloween project in the future. So that is Blackbird. Those are the only two that I started on the 22nd. I do know that that was a Friday. I do remember that. And then the Saturday, it looks like I started 3 things on the 23rd. And then on the 24th, I've got many more starts. So let me pull these in. First one I've got to show for the 24th of August is Spring, what is that? Spring Garden at Cranberry Manor. And this is by Pansy Patch. This one was a market release this year. I just love it. So this is being stitched 1/2 on a 36 count wet sand by Bestitch Me. And I did a top left start, and that's what I got to. This is a really, really nice fabric. It's mottled, but it's not so heavily mottled that it like detracts from the pattern, because A, the modeling is tight, and B, there's not too much variation between the lights and the darks in it. I know some fabrics that I get, they're like highly contrasting variegation, and sometimes it can be really hard to choose a project for a fabric that's got such high contrast in the variegation. All right, the next one is the Winter Sampler from Crochet A Go-Go. I had seen Stitchy Linda on Instagram. She had went to a treat and had posted a video of like a finish table, and this was on one of the tables, and it was absolutely stunning. And I had already had this project kitted, and so I knew that this was going to be one of the starts that I pulled. moving forward to help get my kit count down. So it's like the needle's going through all 4 folds of fabric. Let me get that back in. That is the back. So this is where I got to on this one. Just started in that top border. And what is this fabric? This is being stitched 1/2 on a 36 count burnt sand by Manny DiDonna, using all the called for DMCs. Beautiful. And the last one that I started on the 23rd of August is Halloween Greetings by Blackbird Designs. This project actually only calls for 1 floss that's variegated between this black and orange. But instead, I'm using 3 floss colors. So I have a black, I have a green, and I have an orange. So the green is going to be the vine. The orange is going to be the acorns, or whatever it is. And then the black is the Halloween greetings and, you know, the little bits that are in there. And mine is being stitched 2/2 on a 28 count murky. And that is, I believe, Picture This Plus. Yes. So here's where I got to. Again, a center start, because this 16th is the perfect size to fit this project. And the colors that I'm using, we've got Witching Hours, so it's really a dark purple, not a black. Weeks Dye Works Terrapin, and then Gentle Arts Burnt Orange. So those are the 3 colors I'm going to be using in this project. And I think it's going to look great. At least, I hope it will. All right, now on to Sunday, August 24th. I did start 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 projects this day. I think. The first one that I will talk about, it's in a Q-snap because I've been working on it this morning. This is Mary Ann Farmer by the Scarlet House. This is such a beautiful project. And I am using the Vicki Clayton silks for this project, her silk pack. And I really like, so far, I really like her conversion for this project here in particular. I've got a couple others that I'm not a huge fan of the conversion. This one I am. And it's being stitched 1/2 on a 36 count fog by Picture This Plus. And this is where I got to. I did a top center start and then was working my way to the right. So the center is about here, maybe the center might be right there. The center, and I've gone all the way to this right edge. I'm gonna finish, all of this out, and then I'm gonna move the fabric and finish the border all the way over, just so that all of that is done. There are 5 layers of colors in that border. So I'm really, really enjoying this project. I love Vicky Clayton silks. I just don't always love her conversions. And for the longest time, I thought I didn't really like Picture This Plus. I really like Picture This Plus 36 count. I don't know if it's just this color that I like, because her 40 count seems to be a little bit too tight for me. I know her 28 count and her 32 count, like the threads of the fabric get plump. This one is like, you might not be able to see it. These threads aren't plump like some of the others, so it's really easy to stitch on. I don't need any sort of lighting, special lighting or anything, any magnification. I can just pick it up and go. So I think moving forward, if I do want to use Picture This Plus, I will probably use 36 count Picture This Plus 1/2. So that is Mary Ann Farmer. Love her. I really love her. The next one I picked up, I should have started this one sooner, but I didn't. This is Spirit Dancer by Lavender and Lace. She is just so beautiful, so regal, the way she sits there. A lot of white, a lot of cream. But yeah, I love her. I did a top center start on her as well. And this is being stitched 2/2 on a 32 count flax. Just an undyed flax. And that is where I got to on her. I believe that is 2 or 3 DMC threads. I want to get her done. And my idea initially was to actually finish this and give this to the host of the Airbnb that I go to every October in North Carolina, because she actually used to have like a consignment shop, like an art gallery that would sell Native American, art and hand goods. And so she's got so much Native American, memorabilia and, art all over the home, and it's absolutely stunning. And I thought, I would stitch this for her as a thank you, for letting me visit every October. And they're very kind. They're very kind people. We rent out the whole house, but they're just very gracious. The next one I started is House on Blueberry Hill by Blueberry Ridge Designs. I know this project was very popular a few years ago. I think when it first came out, there were a lot of people that picked this up and stitched it. I am late to the game, but I love Blueberry Ridge. I will stitch almost anything that they design. There's a few things that I'm not a fan of, but love it. I'm stitching mine 1/2 on a 40 count suede by Needle Bling. which I didn't realize I was using needle blink for this, but that's what I have written down. And again, that is the back. And that's where I got to. Again, top left start. I usually give myself just about a 2-inch border on either side. So, house on Blueberry Hill. I'm using all the called for flosses. Next one I started is from the Drawn Thread. This is Christmas Jumble. Really pretty. I just love the Drawn Thread. And I had purchased this as a kit, so it came with 40 count fabric, the called for, what is this, sticky dyes and needlepoint NPIs. Don't know what the fabric is. It is kind of stiff. It's very much like a flax or a natural. And I did a top center start on her. So I just got that bow in there, that's it. Beautiful. What is that color? That's Dinky Dye's Cherry Wood is the red that's being used in here. Next one, oh goodness, I've got another Blueberry Ridge design that I started. This is Bramble Cottage. Love the flowers. I'm a sucker for a blue house. I love the border, how interesting it is. And this is being stitched 1/2 on a 40 count blush. I believe this is just a Swigart fabric. And this is a 16th. That's all I got. Just the 2 colors in, that little diamond. I don't even know which way this goes. Maybe this way. I don't know. So yeah. But this is a pink fabric. I thought the ring light would make the colors more true. Two more for this day. I had started thinking of from the Crowns and Shields Blackbird book, and I'm doing this one here. So pretty. And mine is being stitched 1/2 on a 40 count flannel flower from Fox and Rabbit. I'm using a mix of called fors and my own chosen flosses. I did a top center start, and that is where I got to. This flannel flower is such a pretty fabric. Oh my gosh. It's like creamy with some warm like earth tones and gray. It is really gorgeous. It's probably one of my favorite fabrics now is flannel flower. We're almost done, y'all. We're almost done. The last one I started on this day was Mary Mary by Mirabilia. And she is being stitched on a fun fabric. So Mary Mary, she is being stitched 2/2 on 32 count Frozen Lake by Be Stitch Me. Y'all, if you have not used Frozen Lake before, this fabric is so beautiful. I can't get over it. So this is where I got to on her. Again, I think it was 2, maybe 3 threads. I did a top center start, I believe. I certainly hope so, because there's not a whole lot up top for anything additional, but this is the fabric. Oh my gosh. Now, if I had this in, say, 40 count, I really wouldn't know what to stitch on it. But in a 32 count, like a crazy heavily modeled stark contrast fabric like this, I know I can use it for a Mirabilia. I know there's a Mirabilia for these high contrast crazy fabrics. And this one, for me, is a perfect fabric for Mary Mary. I mean, she is really going to be just like standing there in this frozen lake winter wonderland oasis, and I am here for it. I am so excited about getting more progress on this one and just seeing how she unfolds on this piece of fabric. Oh, I love it. All right, so that's everything that was started those 3 days in August. Next are things that I started towards the end of August, possibly the beginning of this month. I've got three here, but I've got another start that I don't know when I started this one, so I'll just go ahead and show this one now. I did also start Jane Fittис, is what I've been saying, 1835, by Hands Across the Sea. Or, as my friend Terry calls it, the Circus Sampler. She is pretty, but I was going through the pattern today. She has so many, quote, specialty stitches, and then like the head of this bird and the bottom portion of this bird are all 1/1, like all that dense 1/1 stitching. It is what it is. I'm stitching her. Oh gosh. I know it's 1/2. Oh, I don't know what the fabric is, but I'm using the called for 103s, 1/2 on 40 count fabric, and of course I'm piling everything on top of one another over here next to me on the couch. So Oh, 1/2 on 40 count overcast by Cedar River Linens. Okay, cool. And so this is where I've got to, I think I've worked on this 2 days, if I'm not mistaken. I was working on it this morning, which is why you see it in this Q snap. So I did a center side start because this project will fit like sideways on a fat quarter. And I should have about half of the fat quarter left when I cut her down. Absolutely stunning. Love her, Jane Fittis. And then the next project I started, I don't have a card in here. I will have to follow up with you on the dates for this one. But this is Midsummer Night's Fairy by Mirabilia. I seen this project finished, and it was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen in my life. And I knew, that's it, I'm stitching it. And so I did a center start on her, 2/2 on a 32 count sandbar by Stitch Me. And this is a beautiful fabric as well. And that is where I got to on her. Kind of tone on tone, highly variegated fabric, which again I can appreciate for a Mirabilia, like a project like this. But in a higher count, I just have no idea what I would stitch on this. Maybe one of those like praiseworthy winter designs would look good on something like this. So that's Midsummer's Night Fairy. I've only got 2 more starts, y'all. And then this video will be done. And we are at just about an hour. I started this one, I think, 3 nights ago, maybe on Wednesday, the 5th or 3rd, possibly, I think. This is Mother's Garden by Blackbird Designs. And I think I'm going to be stitching this for my grandmother in honor of her, and put her initials, my grandfather's initials, my mother and my uncle, and then all the grandkids' initials on there. Maybe the great grandkids too. I have to go through and count everybody again. So Mother's Garden is being stitched 1/2 on a 40 count Salt Ash by Cedar River Linens. And again, I'm stitching this sideways on the fat quarter. And that's where I got to. I did a top left start, taking that border down, and then started on that first flower. All right, and the very last project that I have to show you today some threads, is Winter Wonderland, another one by Blackbird Designs. I think I started more Blackbirds this month than any other designer, it sounds like. And mine is being stitched 1/2 on 40 count footloose by Moonshine Stitchery. And I did another top left start. And that is where, I think it actually goes down like that. So, oh my gosh. This project is going to look so good on this fabric. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm stoked about this. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It's definitely giving Winter Wonderland vibes right there, for sure. Whew. So that is that. Wow. That is a lot of starts. I feel overwhelmed thinking about it, but not overwhelmed in the sense of my whip count. Just overwhelmed in everything that I just showed you today. That's crazy. So in September, I think I for sure want to get some more work done on Hannah Campbell. I want to work on that Halloween greetings piece that I started by Blackbird. Hopefully to get that one done before I leave for my vacation in October. I mean, it's a small design. There's no reason that I shouldn't be able to get that one finished. But, so I want to work on that one for sure. Possibly do some other new starts. I've been thinking about like my birthday starts. My birthday is at the end of October on the 29th. And I think when I go on my vacation to North Carolina, I think I want to start something there. I think it's either going to be, I've got a few that I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the floral motif sampler. I'm thinking about, I'm literally drawing a blank right now. I can't even think about the ones that I was thinking of starting. I've been talking too long. My throat's dry. My lips are dry. But I certainly appreciate y'all sticking around for this long. I did purchase some like needle points from eBay, I think the month before last month, so in July, and I've been meaning to show you. I do not even have them here with me right now. Next video, I will show them to you. But in the meantime, I certainly hope that if you are participating in Sampler September, that your samplers get a lot of love. I certainly hope that everyone has a great stitchy month in September. I'm certainly hoping that I do as well. And again, I appreciate you sticking around this long. Thank you so much for coming back. I look forward to seeing you next month. And until then, happy stitching.